What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 73. My name is Bret, aka Enigma 9011, and today I am joined by two very special guests. I am joined by Sam and Steve today. Guys, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing, man. Not bad for an old guy.
Classic. I'm really glad that you guys were able to do the podcast with me today, so thank you for doing this. Remember, you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma911 every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join in the chat, join on the conversation. We'd love to have you. But if you can't catch it live, you can go over to youtube.com, search Enigma911 as well as SoundCloud. It's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video and MP3 for your amusement the following week. If you guys ever have a topic for us that you'd like to discuss or even a guest, put it in the comment section down below and we'll try our best to get to it. Last but not least, hashtag ad. This podcast is brought to you by the merch store. You get all of your swag over there, t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us. We'd love it if you do that. But remember, the merch store is not going to be around for that much longer, so please take advantage of it while it is there. Okay, the rigmarole is done. I can stop talking like a robot, hopefully. I don't know. But yes, we got Sam and Steve on today. I'm really looking forward to this podcast. We got a variety of topics. And I'm going to be kicking it off today. So, for those of you guys who don't know, I met Sam and Steve at a place that I've talked about numerous times on this podcast, at Tae Kwon Do. So, I kind of wanted to talk to them about their Taekwondo journey and what got them invested in Taekwondo or interested in Taekwondo. But yeah, I don't know. I've always found it interesting because I don't think I've ever asked them if like their story about it. Now, oddly enough, I remember the first time meeting them. I don't know why. Like some students you remember a lot about, and some you're just like, whoop, there they go. Okay. But I remember it was obviously in Clifton Park, Saturday morning class. I was helping out because reasons and obligations. And I was like, oh, hey. And they were white belts. And then I remember a few weeks later, you guys were married. And I was like, oh, I had no idea that this. I was just like, oh, all right.
Just one of them.
Yeah, just, wow, bam.
We went to the class the day after we got married.
Yeah.
So they called it a Pays honeymoon.
And then since then, obviously, we've been talking more and more and realized we had a lot in common through video games and wrestling and just good old time. So yeah, obviously that's why I invited him on the podcast. But yeah, I wanted to know why. First off, how did you guys get involved in Taekwondo? How about I'll start with that.
Ladies first.
So we were going to our local YMCA because we wanted to get in shape and just do something together as a couple. One day I saw a flyer hanging up for a karate lesson. So I asked Steve, I'm like, oh, what do you think about this? I guess there's just like a visiting karate instructor that comes in from time to time. But I think you had to pay for it. So Steve is like, oh, well, I mean, we already pay for YMCA. Like, why not just, try out a center? So one day I called and I set up an appointment and we did like a little trial run with Grandmaster Pei, and it was a lot of fun actually. And nice. We signed up for classes and the rest is history.
There you go. And Steve, what did you think about the idea originally when she brought it up?
Well, and Sam pretty much hit it right in the head. We left, at YMCA, and we wanted to get in shape. At the time, the only shape I was round, and I wanted to, we wanted to try something a little different. Kept talking about the karate class, but then it's like, where does it go from there?
Right.
Like what are we working towards? Besides just going to class and kicking things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I remember when I was a kid, I went to Waterford and they used to come to the school. This is, oh man, when I was in fourth grade, what's that?
Many moons ago.
1647? What year was that? Yeah. No. I was early 90s, mid 90s.
Nope.
And I remember they came to my school. I still remember the pain. I was like, I like that guy. I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah.
Sure enough, we went, sat down with them, kicked some things, talked, and one thing led to another.
Nice. Very cool. Okay, so you guys have been in law. Let's see, you guys are red belts now.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys have been doing it for 3 years.
3 years in November. I think it was the day after Halloween we started.
Nice.
It was like right at the beginning of November.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because I remember they had the candy roll out at the front desk.
Temptations.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
And I hit that candy bowl.
Yeah. Nice. All right. So through the program, like obviously you guys said you wanted to get in shape. Was there any other goals that maybe you found early on that you wanted to chase after when you guys started? Sam, I'll start with you.
Sure. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with Tae Kwon Do when I first started. It just kind of came to me gradually as I went on. I have a dream to be a professional MMA fighter, but I don't think that's gonna happen, but you never know. I would love to do that someday, but it's just a dream right now.
Okay.
But I definitely want to, a goal of mine, I definitely would like to write a book on how much it's impacted my life. It's changed me in so many ways. It's like so hard to describe because it's so personal to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I'm definitely able to set better boundaries for myself, and my mental health is so much better. I have anxiety and depression, and it has gotten so much better since I started going to PAYS, and I just feel so empowered that I can like fight, like I obviously I won't like go out of my way to fight somebody, but it's nice to know that like I can defend myself because growing up, I had some troubles, just, like kids would pick on me or whatever, and I felt powerless. And it's like nice to know like that, like, wow, like, I don't know how to describe it.
That's fine.
I can, like, it's nice to know that like when I feel stronger now, and I feel great, mentally and physically, and it's just, I don't know, it's just been a wonderful experience. And like I said, it's very personal to me, this journey, so it's really hard to describe.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
But yeah, I just feel much better in general, and it's nice. Like when you feel stronger physically, you feel stronger mentally.
Right.
So that's what I was trying to say.
That's awesome. I mean, hearing all that.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm able to think more clearly, and I'm able to stick up for myself more. When I had troubles in the past, I felt like I didn't really have a voice, and I think part of it was like I didn't know how to defend myself. So that kind of goes along with like when you feel good physically, you feel good mentally. Like that's just my opinion. But,
for sure.
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
But I really do believe that. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I'm really happy to hear all that. I'm glad
you.
It's benefited you a lot. Steve.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Well, at the time I was engaged, so I had to protect myself. Just kidding. No, all kidding aside. You know what it was going back to when I was talking earlier about being in, early, mid, elementary school and doing it at school. It was one of those things where I never actually went to the graduation to get my white belt.
Oh, okay.
So it was one of those things for years that's always kind of been like a chip on my shoulder. Like, I never got that. And then we went to Tae Kwon Do, and then we started getting belt after belt, working towards, working our way up. It was like, all right, okay, I'm accomplishing something. This is good. So it's fulfilled that need that I've always had to get that belt in one form or another.
Awesome.
So that was one of
Yeah,
my
I
things
agree
that
with that.
I unexpectedly didn't plan on, but it worked out great.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's nice to have like the external reward too, and I focus more on like the internal reward. But the external reward is like kind of that like, oh wow, like I get something too, like
Right.
both ways. Like it's really cool.
Yeah.
But I tend to focus more on the internal because it's done so much for me on like a mental health level. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, going on the external things. I think personally for me, that was always the thing I noticed more, obviously, as a kid going through it, like, oh, I'm moving up the ranks, I'm advanced, or now I'm demo team, or now I'm this, like getting the uniform, or this and that. And as obviously I've progressed and gotten older, then you start noticing like, oh, okay, actually I'm standing in front of a classroom and actually teaching people. That never would have happened as a kid, standing in front, and doing that. Or I'm performing, or I'm doing, like, I'm teaching the next generation or whatever it is. And then obviously helping a variety of people. I'm helping a 4-year-old, I'm helping a 60-year-old, doing various things, and, helping them each with their own goals differently, obviously. But that's great. That's glad to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
Exactly. And like, oh, sorry.
No, go right ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, kind of going off of what you said about like the 4-year-olds and the 6-year-olds, there's like a whole group of people. So you get to work with all different ages and all different sizes and like personalities too. So it's fun because you get to learn a lot about other people too. And that's another thing I think is really cool about Tae Kwon Do. You get to meet people from all walks of life. So I love that too.
Yeah, you guys have been in plenty of family classes. The spectrum of like, whew, okay, gotta focus here, gotta focus there. Oh boy. But Papa Griff's on the same mind track with me. He's asking, for both of you guys, what part of the curriculum were you guys most attracted to? Like, was it hand combos, foot techniques, was it form, was it breaking, or something else?
I really like the sparring, and I couldn't wait to get to that level. And pretty much anybody who knows me there knows I love the sparring part. And it's weird because like I don't know, I've just always been kind of like afraid and like not very assertive growing up, and that kind of helped me to become more assertive. So it's like just helped me a lot in that department. But I really like the sparring and the board breaking too. Oh my gosh, I remember the first time I had to break a board, and I think they started us off like really early, maybe like white belt or yellow belt, I can't remember. But I was terrified because the instructor was a teenager and I'm like way older than that.
Way older.
And I was like, am I gonna hurt? I'm like, am I gonna hurt someone? Like I was so nervous. Because like I also, like, I'm just being honest, like before I got to Taekwondo, I didn't have great body control. So I'm like, oh, am I gonna smack this person in the face?
Right.
So but I learned that over time, and now I'm not really afraid of breaking boards at all. So I really like that, and I love the sparring.
Nice. Steve? Kicks.
I love kicks. On my back kick, I practiced obsessively. That's what I enjoy doing. I like working on the kicks and hitting the bag, doing different things like that. Forms are interesting because it's kind of a challenge. I can kind of look at it and go, okay, this is new to me. I don't understand it. It's not something I'm used to, where I got to move my body a certain way or think about it and put mind and body together. Right. So it's interesting, and then, things like, the history and the meaning and things like that are quick to absorb for me. Like I can handle that. Oh, okay. It's just the movement sometimes.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, Steve, you're always pounding those bags, and I'm always scared when I'm walking past them. I'm just like, oh God, I gotta time this right, or I'm gonna get nailed.
He's always knocking things down.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
Oh yeah.
He's like a powerhouse.
I don't even mean to sometimes. I don't even mean to. Yeah. It just happens. I'm like, oh no. especially when they're filled with water. I'm like, no.
Yep.
No.
I'm surprised if any of them have still water in them. Just like the amount of abuse they've taken.
Just like a big flood.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of building off of Sam with the sparring, because I knew you were really into it and you were happy with your progress there. My next question is about competition. So you were in the sparring competition, like trying that in championship. What was that like? Like, were you really nervous about it, or like how was your experience going into it? And Steve, obviously you too with competition. What was your mindset about it? But yeah, Sam, go ahead.
Sure. I just want to like backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so the sparring competition I was in April 2019, and that was for the spring. We have 2 competitions every year, one for the spring and one for the fall. I did the spring one when we were white belts. So yeah, maybe November, April. So a couple months after we first started. I did the form, and I sucked at it because I came in dead last.
Yeah, that happens.
But I was super, super nervous because I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
So I just kind of went in there and I just did it. And I was shaking during the entire thing, but it was a really good experience because it helped me to learn how you do competition, because you have to there's a whole procedure. You have to bow, and you have to announce yourself and what your form is. So it was just nice to have that experience being at a championship. And I got to see how I measured up against other people, which was really cool. So it kind of set the bar for where I need to be and what I can work on. And I learned that too. I'm not gonna lie, I was really, really upset, and I was really hard on myself after, because I'm like, oh my God, I thought I did great in class, but here I am coming in dead last at the competition, which, set me back mentally a little bit. But I took that experience and I turned it around into a positive, and I said, you know what? Here's what I need to work on. At least I know what competition is like. So I said to myself, I'm going to try it again. I don't know when, but I'll try it again. So then by the time we got our green belt, was it a year and a half later, I was I did the sparring, and I knew I was going to love it, because I've been into wrestling and MMA for a little while now. So I'm like, oh, cool. I can't wait to be able to do that. So I was pretty excited. So I just kind of went on a whim and signed up for the sparring competition, and I sparred with a girl who was a belt rank higher than me. So I was a little nervous at first, but she was really, really nice. Super, super humble. I didn't realize how strong I was too, because I just kind of went for it, and we just really went at it really, really hard, and I didn't realize how hard people could hit. I was like, whoa. So I learned my own strength in that match, and I learned what I could handle, and I didn't even know what my strength was until I kicked the poor girl down 3 times on the mat, and we were punching each other in the head. I was like, I didn't even know if we were allowed to do this, but it just felt like it was okay. So we just kind of went for it. And I was gassing out towards the end, and I was a little nervous, but I heard my friend Lori in the background cheering me on, and Steve in the background, so that helped a lot. I ended up winning the match, and I got, first place, and it was 3 rounds, and I was like, holy crap. I'm like, so it was 90 seconds total, and I felt like it was 5 minutes, like the professional fighters do. So, I was like, how the heck do you guys do 5 minutes of fighting or whatever? So I'm like, I'm gassing out at the last minute here, but I just kept going. So I learned my strength, I learned perseverance, I learned humility, and it was the best experience, one of the best experiences I've had in my journey so far. It's awesome, and it felt good to win too. So
nice.
Yeah.
Quick sidebar question, Sam. In sparring, are you the aggressor or are you more defender counter person?
Oh, I'm definitely the aggressor.
All right.
Yeah, I'm definitely the aggressor.
I tested that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Ooh. Oh man.
And then Steve, you've participated. I think you did board breaking, right? At the championship.
Oh, you remembered that? No.
Well, okay, it doesn't have to be specifically about board breaking, but like, what are your championship experiences? Like, what did you get out of it?
Well, the problem is leading up to it, I'm like obsessive over it. So just even with this pasta, I had to do the best that I can, almost to the point that it tortures me.
Okay.
So when I got to the board breaking, it got to the point where it was like, I don't know if I just got overconfident once I got going, and I broke the first 10, then I broke the next 10, then I was like, okay, like, I'm walking around, like in my head, I'm like McGregor with the,
yeah.
And then of course I do a back kick, which was above my level, and I missed the board. I came in second, which was, hey, listen, I can't complain. It was second, but it bugs me to this day that I came in second when I should have come in first. I was on a roll. I was doing well. I felt like I was in the lead at the time, and the person who came in first was awesome. He's somebody at our school. He's incredible. But it bugged the hell out of me that I didn't come in first, because I just knew that I should have.
Yeah.
And to this day, I haven't done another competition since.
Really? Wow. Okay.
So it's one of those things where I'll get back to it again, but I just have to work myself up to that point.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely understand the board whiffs. I've had many a competition doing that, and it's like you're doing the measure, and you put all your effort in, but even if you like missed it or tipped it, you're like, nah, I gotta be honest. Okay, that was my attempt. Bye.
Exactly.
Like, because you don't want to be like, oh no, I didn't hit it, so it's not my attempt, and you're like, nah, don't do it.
Plus all those eyes on you too. Like, there's at least 3 to 4 judges,
right?
And then you've got the audience, and then you've got all this background noise that's distracting. So it's like,
especially after you do your yell too, everybody's just looking right at you.
Yeah.
Because you're like, look at me.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But nice. Okay. Next question from me. Is there a certain aspect of your training that you didn't like at first that you've kind of either grown to love or just like, yeah, it's okay now? Because talking about sparring, that was a big one for me. I always hated sparring as a kid. I was like, I'm not putting on this gear. I'm not looking like a marshmallow. I don't want to get hit left and right and be in pain. And then championship, when that rolled around, I was like, nope, not sparring. Nope, not sparring. Nope. And then finally I just sucked it up. I was just like, all right, I'll do it. And I wouldn't say I love it, but I definitely have a better respect for it. And when championship does roll around, like, I was having fun out there. Like, I never was like, oh, I'm the best spar out here. I knew my level. I'm like, I'm here. I'm going to do what I can. I'll get some headshots in there. I'll do this. I'll do that. I remember this one match. I don't think you guys know the guy. His name's Joe. He's from a different school. But it was only us, I think. No, it was 4 people. But I knew I was going to go against him probably. So the whole day I was just psyching myself out. I'm like, oh God, he's like bigger than me. He's jacked. I'm like, I'm fucked. So just the whole day people are like, nah man, you got this, do this. So I get to the match, and I think we were finals. Yeah, maybe we were final. I don't know, whatever. We matched up, and yeah, it was intense. Like you guys said, the audience all around you, and especially at the end of the day when everybody's cleared out, like Grandmaster Pays were there, and I'm like, oh crap, Grandmaster Pays never been in my corner for a match. This must be serious. But it was a lot of fun, and Joe and I would spar Joe left and right. He's a great guy. He's really good at spar. I got him that one. I don't know if I'd get him on the next one. He might have learned. Oh, watch that lead leg kick.
He's on to you.
Yep.
Can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
real quick. So, I totally forgot about this part. When I was doing the match, there was a lot of people in my opponent's corner. There wasn't a lot of people in mine because I think they were out like doing, competition and they were just out there doing their thing. But was there like a lot of people in your opponent's corner and you were just kind of like alone?
It always seems that way, whether it's that match or different ones. And I don't know if it's just our school's mentality. Like, obviously, we're all the schools are very like, team spirit, rah rah. Obviously, no offense to the other schools. Sometimes they can be a little over the top with it, or a little too much, and it's like, hello. And I mean, it's not a bad thing, but sometimes you're like, okay, guys, it's just a competition. This isn't the World Series, you know. Nothing's on the line here. Right. So I think we
Cobra Kai.
Right. Sweep the leg. So it's been kind of 50-50. Like I said, that match I feel more people were there. And of course, like families over there. And I always hear people shouting. It's just not like that massive crowd of just like, wow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I kind of felt like the underdog in that match. And like, I forgot to mention this too. Like, I do not like to lose. So I was determined that I was going to win this match. Yeah. And I did, thankfully. But it just kind of felt weird. It's like, wait, where did everybody go?
Right.
So it's nice to have the support, but it's also, it's okay because I look at everything as a learning experience. So, I'm learning through Taekwondo. I don't need to always have that external validation. I get so much internally, which means a lot to me. So, yeah.
Like you said, it's a learning experience. I definitely had to learn to zone it out, block out all that noise, or really hyper focus on it because they're trying to help their guy. Oh, do this kick. Well, dumbass, you just shouted that out. Now I'm going to be looking for that.
Exactly. There was a lot of that too there, and I just kind of like was able to think for myself, which is really cool too, because it's just. You don't want too much distraction either. So,
and like I said, blocking it out. I've done that plenty of times. The guy's like, do this kick, do this kick, do this kick. Yeah. No, I'm not comfortable with this kick or whatever. Like, you just gotta kind of break it apart.
And like, absolutely. And that was like another thing I learned, like going with the flow, like matching the energy that your opponent has, and just like, I don't know, I really stepped it up, and I don't really like cardio that much, so I'm like, how the hell did I get through this match?
Yeah.
I have a lot of willpower though, so that's probably
you definitely feel at the end. You're like, oh god.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's like another thing I'm learning in Taekwondo is like people you hear say it's all mental, and it is sometimes mental, like you want to give up physically sometimes, but your mind is like, no, gotta keep going. So anyways, I'm like rambling. I'm sorry.
You're good. That's why we call it this podcast. No, that was good. Is there a part of your training that you guys didn't like that learned to love? So I talked about the sparring. I'm gonna start with Steve on this one. Steve, anything?
No.
I flipped it on you.
Steve's meant to fight.
Oh, man. Well, I still don't love sparring because I'm scared of hurting people. I don't know. It's one of those things like I'm scared to kick too hard.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Or like that kind of thing. And like I don't know. I'm weird about that. And like one time I accidentally kicked somebody, did a headshot, and then they just fell backwards. I was like, I'm never doing that again. Never, ever, ever. I felt so bad. I was like, I'm so sorry. Oh geez, I still don't like rolling, but I'm getting better at it. I kind of look like a snowball.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah,
it's either that or the football. Everybody
or a barrel.
Yeah.
Barrel.
Yeah. I don't know if there's one thing in particular that I've learned to love. I think I've generally loved everything. Like I think the one thing is maybe the camaraderie.
Okay.
Or at least I haven't had that in a while with like teamwork, because you go to your planet, you go to that gold place, you go to all these the Y, but you don't really have that camaraderie. It's kind of like, oh, you're in, you get your Tootsie Roll on the way out, and that's it. Whereas like Tae Kwon Do, like I've learned to like listen to constructive criticism, and I've learned to kind of like take that and work off it. And okay, like if I when I roll, if I turn a little bit, that helps, so that it kind of guides me, that kind of thing. So maybe that's one thing I've got, even though it's not technically Tae Kwon Do, it's the lessons buried underneath that I've kind of seen and worked with.
Nice. Sam, what about you? Anything that has flipped for you or no?
I'm definitely having a hard time with the rolling too. I am still learning body coordination.
Yeah.
Even though it's better for sure. But the rolling is tough for me because I have a hard time trusting myself. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to break my neck if I move the wrong way. And you will hear people sometimes say, it's the technique. You got to get the technique down so you don't hurt yourself. So my mind's like focused on that. And then I can't actually focus on the technique. So it's like, oh crap. So just trying to breathe a little bit, listen. Just the other night when we were in class, Grandmaster was teaching, and I was struggling with the rolling part. I'd rolled the wrong way onto my shoulder, and it was pain for days. But Grandmaster took me to the back, and he started me on a nice big thick mat, and he was telling me the motion, so I followed him. I was like, oh wow, okay, this isn't that bad, because I had something to protect me that was cushion, like a nice big cushion. And then I got comfortable with that. Then he moved me to like a thinner mat, and then I got comfortable with that. Then I was able to roll on the actual mat, but then we had to do something else. So I was like, oh,
yeah.
Almost.
As soon as you get it, then switch it up.
I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
So finally, I was getting comfortable. And when he teaches, obviously he's like the best of the best because he's been doing it the longest. Right. But I just, I don't know, I learn from him. And it's like he's so gentle with us, and
well, depending on what class.
Well, he was gentle with me. So I was very comfortable, and then I was like, okay, I was starting to trust myself, and then hopefully by next time I'll feel a little bit more comfortable.
Nice.
Yeah,
there we go. All right, to wrap it up, is there anything future curriculum that you guys are looking forward to? I'm pretty sure both of you guys are aiming for black belt. I assume maybe post black belt, but maybe that's just a bad assumption. But is there anything you guys are looking forward to learning?
Oh, do you want me to go first?
Steve wants to stay quiet.
Oh, I know. And then I feel like I babble on so much.
No, you're good.
Like, awkward silence.
You're great at it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, what was the question?
So
what we want to do in the future?
So what are you looking forward to in the future? Are you looking forward to like weapons or more self-defense or certain types of kicks? Like, is there anything that you haven't learned yet that you're looking forward to?
I definitely like the weapons training. Like, we have done a little bit with like the nunchucks.
Yep.
The nunchucks. Oh my God, am I saying that right?
Nunchucks, you're good.
Yeah. And those big like bamboo swords. Like,
oh, okay, you guys use those too.
And yeah, and I also I thought I heard something about like us being able to like take guns out of people's hands or something. So that's like pretty freaking cool. It sounds like badass to me. So like that sounds like a lot of fun.
Okay.
Like, that's cool. So yeah, like weapons training sounds really cool, and the forms look really awesome too. So there's like weapons forms too, right?
Yep. There's
later on. Yeah.
Let's say 3 nunchuck forms and 3 bow staff. Yeah, 3 each.
Yep. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to those for sure.
Nice.
if we continue on, which I think we will.
Cool.
I think we will.
Yeah.
Nice. Steve?
Leadership.
Okay.
Leadership team. Because I sometimes I listen to the young folks who like read the messages at the end of class and that sort of thing, and I'm like, I could talk a lot about the messages that are given, each week from experience more than anything, rather than just kind of reading it off the paper.
Yeah.
And they do a fine job, but it would be interesting to kind of go more in depth, kind of like Grandmaster Pay does.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That's something I look forward to.
That's cool. I didn't know that was something that was interesting you. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the message was always rough for me. Like it was just like, oh god, okay, how do I don't know, like, because kids is a little different. Like, okay, do your homework, do this, do that. But adults, I'm like, you guys have experiences I don't. Maybe I'm saying something that's gonna make no sense, or just be like, oh, shut up, young gun, or whatever. But you don't know nothing. But
you youngster, you.
Yeah, exactly. I always feel that with Al. Like, if I say anything to him, he's just like, shut up, you know nothing. And I'm like, all right, Al, just don't axe kick me in the head, please.
Man.
But that's great. I'm really glad. You guys obviously are benefiting a lot from it, and I know you guys always put in 110% effort when you guys are there. And with you guys doing that, obviously you're benefiting yourselves, but you're benefiting the other people there too, whether it's students or even instructors like me. We see that energy and we're like, all right, let's keep this ball rolling. So you guys are doing an awesome job, and I'm proud of you of what you've accomplished. So good job, guys.
We appreciate you a lot. We definitely feel really comfortable when you're instructing. I don't know, it's like a whole different level. It's awesome.
Let's just be honest. Every time we see that black Suzuki or Nissan or whatever in the parking lot, we do our happy dance.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is either going to be a great class or it's going to be arm circles.
Hell yeah, arm circles! Yeah.
Oh yes.
God.
Up, down,
go either
circles.
50-50, flip that coin.
Oh man. Well,
sometimes the class goes really well, and then at the end it's like, by the way, we're doing arm circles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
So close.
Thanks to you, we got nice arms.
Yeah, that's the point.
Nice tone there. Nice tonage.
You do. Yeah.
Oh god. Alrighty.
Good times.
Good times indeed. All right, moving on to topic 2. Sam, what is your topic today?
I just wanted to talk a little bit about the pandemic and exercise in the pandemic. So let me think. I don't really have any notes, so I'm just kind of going off of whatever comes to mind. Yeah. So I'm winging it. Exactly. So I had quite a bit of downtime during the pandemic. So I started having more anxiety, and I was thinking to myself, what can I do to alleviate this? And I know every time I go to Tae Kwon Do class, it's like kicks my butt, but I feel so much better when I get out of class. So I'm like, okay, why don't I exercise more? Mm-hmm. So when I was really, really young, I did a lot of dance. I did soccer. I did a lot of softball. But then I kind of moved away from that, and I did more music and artsy stuff. Okay. So I was really, really out of shape. But when I went back to Taekwondo, I started getting into better shape, and I definitely noticed a big difference in my mental health. So I'm like, all right, why don't I start exercising more? And I just kind of went for it. I'm like, you know what? I'm a very curious person, so I'm like, well, what if I walked more? Let me see what that does for my health. So I started walking around the block at least once a day, and I was able to get out of that a walk. I did a walking meditation. So not only was I able to calm my mind, but I was able to calm my body too, because I know, speaking from experience, when I have a lot of anxiety, my body gets tensed up and then I get just feeling achy after that. So the exercise and like walking around the block once a day for about like 30 minutes a day really, really helped calm my mind and my body. So then I got to learn a little bit about like the mind body connection. I didn't really know that a lot before. So I just, I noticed that just walking around the block made a huge difference in my life during our downtime. So I gradually built up from walking, I don't know, like maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And then 45 minutes started to become an hour. So like, just like little by little, baby steps. Cause I know we do Tae Kwon Do at least 2 to 3 times a week, 3 times at most. But I also noticed that I had to do a little bit more outside of class so that I could keep up in class. So it kind of like everything just kind of blended together, I guess you could say. So little by little, I did walking around the block and noticed the huge difference that it made in my mind and my body. I felt, my legs were getting stronger and my mind was racing less. I was able to think more clearly. So like exercise has definitely helped me to calm down. Like I was saying, I was out of work for a little while and had some downtime, so I was trying to be creative and think of ways to calm my anxiety and just like pass the time. So just walking did a lot, and I was swimming too. I swam a little bit. We have a pool in our complex here, so swimming helps a lot, and it's so therapeutic because you're in there and the water feels so good and you're getting the exercise you need, so you're getting stronger physically and mentally. So it just really, really helps me a lot. And like I was saying, my legs were getting stronger, and I know I think about maybe a year or maybe a little over a year, we're going to start training for our black belt exam. So, and I am going to be honest, like I do not like running at all. Like
Nobody does.
Very bad experiences running. I got out of breath. So when I had to run when I was younger, so I'm like, let me use this downtime to build up to be able to run. So I'm like, let's use this time constructively, and exercise was one of the solutions. So
nice.
I keep talking in circles, I'm sorry.
You're good.
But so like I just circle. Try to like I just tried to like blend everything together. I feel like everything is connected, like healthy body, healthy mind, and vice versa. And also, along with the exercise, it also had me thinking like, wow, like I need to start eating better. Like I am on a gluten-free diet. I've been on a gluten-free diet for over 2 years now. It's definitely changed my life dramatically. Like I used to feel so sick all the time. So I've been on that diet for a little while, and it's helped me to be able to feel good and keep up with exercise. Because like when you feel, like crap, right. You don't want to get up. You don't want to move physically, mentally. But I just kind of pushed myself because I just started observing like, wow, how do I feel when I'm out there walking around? How do I feel, mentally? Are my thoughts am I feeling better, like thought wise? Am I more anxious? Is my breathing rate going down? So like just eating well kind of came with the exercise too. So we try to eat better, like we try to eat less processed foods, and we try to cook at home as much as we can, and that's helped out tremendously with my mood and my mind. That's definitely shifted a lot. And I was working with a nutritionist came to my job, and that was a big game changer for me because I learned even more about what to eat and stuff. So yeah, it just kind of all blends together. And, you know, I'm a big believer in healthy mind, healthy body, and, you know, vice versa. So just trying to practice it is, you know, and keeping it consistent is a challenge.
For sure.
Because, you know, we get holidays that roll around and whatnot. So, yeah, just trying to be mindful of what we eat and what we digest, like on a mental level, like too. It's all connected. Mind, body, and spirit is all connected. And, you know, just trying to live your best life every day and keep active and try to strive to be the best you can and whatnot. So
yeah,
I don't know, just helped me a lot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Since stopping Taekwondo, I've definitely noticed a difference in a lot of things. You know, weight, scale, mental attitude. Like, obviously, oh, thanks, appreciate it. That's what matters. But yeah, like, obviously, you're not hitting things 2 to 3 times a week or more.
Yeah.
Where's that energy going? I don't know. There's no release.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely an area I need to work on. And like, I've tried making schedules for myself. It's just a matter of sticking to those schedules. Like with working the shifts, not that that's an excuse, but oversleeping. It shouldn't be.
Yeah. Discipline, right? Well, that's another thing we learn in like Taekwondo, like I've learned, is like discipline. And I didn't have great discipline before I got to Taekwondo. And I take a lot of those lessons home with me, and I try my best to lead and live by example. I'm a human being. I make errors, I make mistakes, but I can tell you 100% this is the best I've ever felt in my life, mentally and physically. And, you know, just exercising was more of a focus because I had so much downtime. Like I'm a very active person. I need to move. So that is one thing that was definitely something I focused on during this downtime in the pandemic. And I even told Steve, I'm like, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't like the cold, and I don't like to walk outside in the cold. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, let's go to Planet Fitness and I'll just walk on the treadmill. I said, it'll help me, you know, in many, many ways. And it'll also, you know, but it'll help me also to really focus on getting myself ready for this running part of the exam, because I'm not excited about that. I'm really nervous. And this is like brand new to me, like preparing for a running exam. Like I'm the kind of person who can't just like go and do it.
Yeah.
I have to work up to it. And that's another thing I learned through Taekwondo is I have to definitely prepare myself. And I used to just be able to walk into like, I don't know, a test and just wing it or something. But like, this is not a book test. This is not a, you know, test on paper. This is a physical test. And I definitely needed to prepare myself. So I'm glad in a way that I was able to take, you know, time and walk during this pandemic, and it's helped me so much. And it's amazing. I feel great, like mentally, physically. Do I have my bad days? Yeah, I think everybody does. But
never. Yeah. I'm not gonna quote back to Twitter a few days ago. No. No.
Exactly. But it's definitely changed my life for the better. And like, you can even ask Steve, when he first met me, I wasn't interested in sports. I wasn't interested in like anything, but
she's
like,
barely interested in me.
No.
Stop it. But just exercising during this pandemic has made a huge change in my life, and I feel so much better. And I forgot to mention, I was messing around with TikTok.
Okay, there you go.
With Steve, we made a few like silly little videos, but I decided to challenge myself one day, and we have a pretty tall cat perch tower in the back here. I don't know if I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can see it.
That's all right.
But I will send the video. Anyways, the tower is a little bit taller than me, so I put one of our broken boards on there, and I put an empty water bottle.
Oh, there you go.
And I did a spinning roundhouse kick, and I kicked the bottle right off the
nice
tower, which was actually pretty hard because I'm pretty short. I'm 5'4", and the tower is, a little bit, but you have to I had to really extend my legs, so I was definitely challenging myself, but I kicked it off. It took me a few times, but I kicked it off, and that was cool. Nice. So I did some, that was part of my exercise for the pandemic and the downtime that I had. So yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely changed my life, exercising, and led to a whole bunch of other stuff like eating healthy and watch what I read. And, I can't be watching TV and watching the news all day either, because then I get really anxious. So being more active was definitely a solution for me. I can't speak for anybody else but myself, but helped me out so much. So yeah.
We've been trying to walk more lately. We kind of use it as a separation of the day. So I'll do the stream. Kate will be doing her school work, and then we'll go for a walk. And that's been nice. I mean, either it's walking around, obviously, the apartment complex, or been going to the state park and walking around there. And it's just a nice, relaxing walk. And obviously, with the leaves changing and everything, it's nice. So I can definitely see the benefit there. Like I said, that separation of okay, this was the work time. Now this is the, that in between to get to the relaxing time, I guess you could say. But like I said before, I definitely agree with the mental and the physical definitely go hand in hand. I've definitely been feeling that more, and I feel I need to get back in the swing of things, whether it's, jumping rope or just doing the forms or running. For some reason, I want to go running, but and I've thought about Tae Kwon Do too, and I'm tempted. I know if I just give an inch, though, somebody's going to be asking for a yard, and it's come on, dude. That's I have these 2 days. I can only give you this 45-minute block. Okay, maybe an hour and a half when you're going to run class over, but that's all I can do. So we'll see. We'll see if, I obviously miss a lot of people there and doing that activity, like I said, hitting stuff. So we'll see if that's in the cards down the road. But in general,
I hope so.
Definitely got to get back in the swing of things. I can definitely feel that those negative effects starting to take place, and not so good. Steve, anything? I know you've been working. Have you been able to go with Sam on some walks and do that, or anything you're doing for yourself besides class? Or
I'm eating a lot.
Okay, all right, yeah, there we go. Carbing up, carb up. Come on, you can't muscle up and bulk up. You don't carb up.
No, same thing. Walking, it's tough now because the gym's closed.
Yeah.
So that's throwing my whole routine. I was dropping weight like in buckets.
Yeah, you were.
And then all of a sudden it's just done. That's it. So I haven't gained, but I haven't lost any. So I'm kind of at that purgatory kind of thing right now.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but it's, and plus class, we can only go 2 to 3 days a week at most, so it's kind of and I'm not a huge outdoor runner. I don't know, I'm kind of weird about that. I don't know why, but yeah. So it was nice. I was doing really well. I actually hit the 3 miles under 30 minutes on the treadmill at Planet,
nice.
Right before and I was you should have saw me. I was like Rocky on that treadmill.
There you go.
People are looking what the hell is
yeah.
wrong with this guy?
When Steve sweats, he sweats.
Oh, yeah.
He's a faucet.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, come up here. We're going to do self-defense. Oh, God, what the? No, go back.
I'm like the Richard Simmons of Planet Fitness. But so that was, it threw me off this whole pandemic, but hey, we'll get back to it. I'm still a little nervous to go back to the actual gym, but hey, we'll see what happens.
So you mentioned you don't like doing outdoor running, Steve, and Sam, you mentioned you don't like running at all. Is there a certain aspect of the running that you don't like? Because that was another big hurdle for me, with Tae Kwon Do, doing the running test, like you talked about. Hated it. Hated doing the 50 miles over those 6 months or whatever, and then the running test always sucked, and I think I barely made time if I made it. But then the stupid thing, like, I learned to not love it, but I learned to do it. Stupid thing, I would just run when it's not even my test. Nail it. No problem. No doing the miles beforehand. I'm like, what the? You can't, what? Just stupid. So yeah, is there a certain aspect of running, either outdoors or just in general, that you guys don't like?
I tend to get out of breath really quickly. I know why now, because I exert like so much energy. If I don't spread my energy throughout the day, it stores up in me, and then when I actually go to do something, I exert so much energy, so much force that I exhaust myself quickly. I gas out quick. So I need to learn to do things like little by little. So I think that will be the solution to get through the running test. And also, like, from my past experiences, like when I did softball and soccer when I was really young, I'd get out of breath like really, really fast. So, like, I need to kind of move away from like the past. The past is the past, and I definitely feel like I'm in much better shape now. But yeah, just like worrying about, getting out of breath and stuff is like holding me back or giving me a hard time. And also my ankles, I find, are like a little weak sometimes. I also freaking sprained my ankle when I was orange belt, or yellow belt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So like I'm really like, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I know it's been like 2 years now, but like I worry because my ankles like give out sometimes, like not all the time, but sometimes. So I'm like a little worried about that happening. But like I'm very determined, so I'm gonna find a way to strengthen my ankles if I can. Like I'll do those leg curl things.
There you go.
At the gym. Like I'm determined. Like I will not fail this freaking running test. So
Nice.
Yeah, but just getting out of breath, I guess, to answer your question.
All right. And Steve, outdoor running, why is that?
I think it's because, like, with a treadmill, I don't have a whole lot of scenery to look at, so
Okay.
I don't have time to think about things.
See, that's...
You know what I mean? I could just focus on the one. Like, I could look at the Planet Fitness symbol, or I can look at something and just go, and I don't have to think about anything.
See, that's the opposite for me. If I'm on the treadmill and I don't see anything going past me, I don't feel I'm making any progress. I hate it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, oh God, I gotta run outside. Just like, oh, gotta go somewhere. Yeah. Let's see. Papa Gruff says, I ran for 12 years when I was younger. I think the same approach you took with your walking would do perfectly with the running. To be honest, a nice steady jog will get the job done for the black belt test. And the route is a bit shorter than the advertised distance, so it works out for you in your favor.
Good.
And that hill, you use that hill to your advantage. Woohoo! You're gonna be flying.
Good.
So.
Yeah, let us know all the secrets, will ya?
Last lap, you gun it down that hill. You don't stop until you finish. Have some heavy steps, but you'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think practice makes perfect, though, and that's one thing I've learned. One of the many things I've learned in Taekwondo is just the more you practice, the better off you'll feel, and just do it.
For sure.
Just get it done.
Nice.
Get her done.
Awesome. That was a great topic. Moving on to topic 3. Steve, what is your mystery box topic? It is this time.
Here we go. Okay, well, since Mom and Papa Griff are here, I'll make sure you don't get grounded.
Whatever.
So, my topic, I chose a great one. My topic is Bret.
Bret.
And who is Bret?
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
So flipping on to you now.
Hi.
Oh yeah. Because we all know the lovely Master Griffin. We're all, like I said earlier, we're happy to pull in the parking lot, see that black Suzuki or Nissan or whatever it is, and say, God, I love that guy. But we don't really know Bret.
Wow. I'm such a mystery.
Some of us don't. You really are. You're the enigma.
You're an enigma.
True.
After all.
So I want to make all the enigma maniacs happy at home. and let them learn about you a little bit and
Okay.
see kind of like, who is this guy?
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Ready?
Oh, yeah, look at Paul, Bret. Oh man.
He's in the hot seat.
I know.
Do you
Never
want
had
to
the.
phone a friend now, or
I'll get my
like,
speed
my
dial
numbers?
ready.
You call a friend. Oh man.
Kate's probably like, "Oh shit, I better." Hide."
Oh yeah. Careful which friend you call, though. Some of them are 99 cents a minute. You don't want to call those.
True.
Call, you know, those are bad. Don't call those.
Mm-mm. Wow, I think this is the first having the show flipped on me. I don't know why all of a sudden I just pressure.
That's what greatness entails, is being asked the tough questions. So let's see. So like, for example, like, what got you into podcasting?
Oh, okay. What got me into podcasting? Okay. So a couple different things. I was listening to, similar to streaming, I was listening to a group, Kind of Funny. They're on YouTube, they're on Twitch, they're on multiple podcast platforms. I was lucky enough to go on their podcast a couple Augusts ago, maybe 2 years.
I
don't
remember
know.
that.
So, been watching their
yeah.
stuff for a while, and one of their things that they said was, if you want to do something, just do it. So, that was along the streaming mindset. Also, YouTube, friend wanted to do it. I was like, sure, I'll help you out. We did it for a little while. They dropped off, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing this thing and give it a try. So, I mean, that was essentially why it started, was if I'm not doing it, it's never going to happen. As I've been kind of doing more and more episodes, obviously we're on 73 today. It's been going back to topic 1 where I mentioned the teaching. Like, I never thought I'd be teaching in front of 20, 30, however many people.
Yeah.
It's another, honestly, it's another test for public speaking and doing that. And, you know, you got to keep the conversation going, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it benefits myself either obviously personally, or if I was still teaching, doing that, or doing the stream, hopefully helping the presentation there. So I think that's my big motivation for why I want to keep doing it. Even if, you know, we don't get that many listens or views, at least it's something for me and, you know, makes me happy.
Don't worry about how many are listening. It's who's listening. That's important.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Yes.
It's true.
Yeah. Is there a specific person or like a podcast show that inspired you to say, you know what, I really need to do this?
Okay. Well, I've already mentioned Kind of Funny. They're a big group that I like, and honestly, dream job scenario, if I was to go work there, that would be one. Another company that I'm inspired by is a company called Rooster Teeth over in Austin, Texas. They've made so much content. They've made Red vs. Blue, the Halo series. They've have numerous podcasts themselves. They have gameplay videos. So I'd say them. They got a lot of different personalities in there that, you know, I like certain things from each of them. This person's this, this person's that. And then another big one, he's not a podcaster per se, but he's a big streamer that I look up to, is Maximilian Dude. So he's a big component in the fighting game community. And just watching his progression from starting in 2011, I think he started his YouTube channel, and like seeing his growth from that point, and like he's very successful himself. He's worked on games, he's worked obviously doing the stream, he's doing his content, he's helping his friends, and his friends are, you know, getting bigger and stuff like that. And just nobody has a bad thing to say about him, and it's like, that is the person I want to be, the workhorse, the, you know, caring and honest, and just somebody that, you know, like I said, nobody says anything bad about him.
Yeah.
So,
and then like outside of podcasting, is there somebody who like you've looked to in terms of like interview experience, or like you've listened to and you said, wow, that guy interviews well, I should try that, or you could pick certain points or certain things that kind of inspire you?
Outside of podcasts, I'd say that's tough. I don't know if I have anybody outside of podcasts that I can like nail on the head that would be like somebody I styled after. Maybe like obviously with us watching WWE all the time, or wrestling in general, you know, obviously do the interviews here or there, but I think that still kind of circles back to podcasts in a way, because obviously you think of the Chris Jericho podcast, you think of Busted Open Radio, like how they're asking things. So I think as I'm listening to those more now, I'm like, oh, okay, picking up on things here and there. But yeah, it also just circles back to like Greg Miller and Kind of Funny and like, how's he doing? So
like, where do you hope this podcast where do you expect it to go, or like maybe not expect, but like what are you hoping for, like aspiring to?
That's a good one. I don't know if I have like a set goal for it, and that's probably not the best thing, because if you don't have a goal, what are you really driving towards, you know? I think mainly the main goal, at least right now, is personal growth. How can I help myself get better? So by doing the podcast, obviously I'm talking a lot, or I'm doing the social aspect of inviting people on, and you know, maybe people I haven't interacted with a lot. Like there's members in the Kind of Funny community who I've had on the podcast, and getting to know them better and holding a conversation and making a friendship with them, or just learning to, I don't know, expand your words. That sounds weird, but like keep it going instead of just like that short, simple answer. It was fine, or whatever. Just, you know, explaining things.
Like, what are some things you've learned from podcasting?
It can be a pain in the ass to render videos sometimes. Jeff, not calling you out right now, not at all calling out Jeff and Kate for that 3.5 hour podcast that could not be rendered. So yeah, I mean, just the workflow there, like, okay, record it. Okay, then I got a timestamp. This is when this topic was. This is when this topic was. This was this. Do the editing for, I mean, I'd put it on myself, but doing 4 videos, 1 per topic, 1 full, doing the audio version, doing the thumbnail graphics, doing the graphics on the screen that, you know, obviously the chat sees if they're live or if they're seeing the edited product. So that workflow is a big one. And then scheduling is another big one. There's been many a week where I'm like, oh shit, I don't have anybody lined up for Saturday. Great, now I got to do a solo podcast. Now I got to think of 3 topics instead of 1 topic. And I'm like, and getting open to those ideas of like, what do I want to talk about, and what can I talk about passionately enough that I can go for more than 5 minutes about. So
I can see that.
Yeah, definitely can. And do you ever rewatch your own podcast?
You know, I should. I should, but I haven't. And I think Sam mentioned it before we even started recording, how she did the band and she hated hearing her own self on the recording. I think it's similar to that. I'm like, oh God. And I just need to get over it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I asked, because some of the greatest communicators have the hardest time of listening to themselves, even if they're considered to be great. So that's why I'm wondering if like you're able to do that, because I couldn't. I could never listen. I probably won't listen to this after it's finished.
Like I said, I definitely should. I did with the Kind of Funny podcast. I went and listened to that because I wanted to hear how I was presenting myself to that audience, because I've been a member of that community for numerous years and I've gone to live events and stuff, but I was never the most social butterfly and chatting with everybody and whatever. I was just kind of like, I'm here, you know, I'll do what I can. I wanted to break down those walls and barriers, but like it can be tough when you're in the moment sometimes of like taking that leap, taking that step. So for that podcast, I listened back to it and I got a decent like response back from it, obviously with follows and stuff, and that's all great. But people reaching out, I had some people in the YouTube comments, which people say you're never supposed to go to the YouTube comments because it's a shithole, and it is. But I went through.
Horrible place.
I went through. I think I only had 1 negative comment about myself. Like, oh, this guy spent all this time and money to just sit there for 40 minutes. And I'm like, bitch, you don't know what I did that day. I was at the studio all day hanging out with these guys.
He's watching you.
Yeah. And then there was some other people who were totally related. I talked about Tae Kwon Do and some stresses with that. And they're like, man, I know the same thing. It's the same thing at my dojo, or it's the same thing with this. And I'm like, that's awesome. And I was talking with them. And like I said, connected a little bit more with some other community members. And I felt more, I don't know, secure is the right word, more positive, reaching out towards them, being like, hey, do you want to talk more on this podcast or just in general? But yeah, this podcast specifically, no, I should definitely listen to it more. And with work being work, and I have to sit at a computer all this time. And I'm listening to podcasts anyway. If I run out of New Day podcast, I run out of Bustin' Open, I run out of Jericho, I run out of Chris Van Vliet, you know, why not listen to myself and try and, you know, learn something from it.
It's a learning experience, definitely.
For sure.
That's it. Yeah, that's just it. and you kind of listen to others, or you kind of like listen to it and you go, okay, I see what they're doing there. That's good. I see the way they frame that question. That's good. I like that. Yeah, it's cool. Are there ever times where you try to bring in things from outside of your podcast into your show, like different things like from Tae Kwon Do, for example, or different things like obviously today we were talking about Tae Kwon Do, but is there ever a time when like you like have little things like little blips that come up in your life where you're like, I'm gonna kind of incorporate that in my show?
I think so. I don't know if I do it a bunch. We've definitely talked about Tae Kwon Do a few times over the podcast, like obviously this episode, but other episodes too, where it's been the topic, or at least like a moment of it has come up. I used to do vlogs with some friends, and that was definitely interesting, of like, today I did this, today I was stressing about this, today was that. So I'd say those were more bringing things from real life. I'm trying to think of a certain example. We've done so many topics that I don't know. I can't put a finger on it. Like only other thing I can think of is like, oh, I watched this TV show. Let's talk about the TV show or whatever.
I remember you had one a couple months ago. I think it was maybe in May or June, but Steve and I were listening to it. It was like the struggles that you were having finding a job.
Oh, yeah, the changes in life. Okay.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I talked about that, and I talked about just a bunch of life changes. Yeah, I remember that now. Yep.
It's refreshing when you talk about like real life things, because it shows that you're a human, you know, and sometimes it kind of feels like, oh, we take on this like persona and we have to look a certain way if we do like a podcast, we're out in the public. But like, hey, at the end of the day, we're all humans, right?
For sure.
We're all, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's exactly what I was expecting. I figured there's little things that happen in life that you can sometimes like incorporate into your persona. It's interesting to think about, Do you ever, like, what are some people like who outside of the podcasting world who have inspired you in terms of like supporting you? Like not just people you've looked at that you've never met, but like people like,
just people who supported me in general.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, the obvious one is the parents. The parents have always been supportive.
Good answer.
Good answer. Yeah, I had to get that first.
Shout out.
Yeah, so they've been supportive, obviously, with me, when the stream first started, shouting my lungs off at, 11, 2 a.m., whatever, and them not busting on the door, being like, what are you doing? Shut up. Obviously, using the space, whether it was the podcast recording down into the dining room or doing Extra Life in their living room, and obviously that's 24 hours of chaos and a shit ton of people. So they're big supporters, and Dad recently has been pushing, well, not pushing, that sounds weird, more invested, I guess. Not that he wasn't before, but like trying to learn what's the ins and outs of Twitch. What do you need for partner? What is affiliate mean?
Yeah.
What do you need to do for editing? Like, he's really trying to learn as much as he can, so I think he can either help or like try and lend some advice if he can think of something, which I appreciate a lot. Kate's another big supporter, obviously. I mean, as we're recording right now, she's literally studying over there with noise canceling headphones, so my annoying ass doesn't distract her. So she lets me do this, and obviously streaming during the day, and we were finding that balance of like, okay, when's stream time? When's time to hang out? When's obviously this time? And it's a whole smorgasbord and puzzle of figuring out when we want to do it. But like, she sees the ups, she sees the downs, she sees the stresses, she sees the good moments, and she's there for all of it. She lends help when she can, but she also knows like, hey, if you need to just vent or take a second, then I'm just here. Yeah, exactly. So she's a big supporter. And there's been friends too along the way. I mean, I mentioned when I started the YouTube channel, I started with my buddy John because he wanted to, and then he dropped out, but like, he's always checking in like, hey, how's the channel doing? Hey, how's the YouTube going? How's content going? And like, he's gotten bursts here and there where he wants to get back into it, and he comes to me for advice like, oh, what would you do for this? What would you do for that? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, here's this, here's that. So him, I got other friends, Billy, Dio, and John were like the second wave of like people who were helping me with content. They would come in for videos if I needed recording, whether it was gameplay stuff or whether it was stream. So they're always supportive. in the chat right now, New York to SoCal Charlie, when I was living out in California for that year, he was just picking my brain similar, like, okay, what do you want from this? What do you want to create? And if we were recording, like getting his first impressions on a game, or we were playing a multiplayer game, because we were playing games as kids always. So we're just like, why don't we take that energy and now we'll put it in front of the camera and, you know, go from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say those are the people, at least like in the local vicinity. And it's a thing too, like even at Tae Kwon Do, with me being more public about doing this content, because at first I kind of shied away from it, because it was that fine line of like, okay, this is Master Griffin and this is Bret. Like, there's the respect level here. If I take away this wall and they see all this and they're like, oh, fuck this guy, he's, you know, I don't want him teaching me or teaching my kid or whatever. Like, I don't know, some people might take it the wrong way, and you know, it's not what I intend. But since doing that, I've had people reach out and be like, oh cool, where can I check out this, where can I do that, where can I support? And every year Extra Life rolls around, like I see a lot of familiar names in there, you know, donating money to the cause. I'm like, you guys are amazing, thank you for doing this. So a lot of people.
And that was something I was going to bring up next, was Extra Life. So, like, how do you prepare yourself for that? What's your
God. Okay, so honestly, each year it gets crazier and crazier of like when I start preparing, when do I plan, etc. Like for last year's, for example, I think I started planning maybe August. I started planning that with the wheel spins and how I'm going to present it, and we need these graphics, we need these people. So like I'll make a whole Word document and Excel sheet of like, okay, here's all the people I'm going to invite. Here's the schedule of the first 12 hours. Here's the schedule of the second 12 hours. And like, here's all the wheel spins. Here's all the money donation goals. And it's like, oh God. And sometimes it gets stressful because you're like, I can't think of things for goals 200 to 300. What do we, like, what's big enough, but not too big?
Just put the birdie bats beans in
there. You go. Yeah. By default.
Right. Oh God.
So yeah, Extra Life's been a lot of fun, and like I'm already planning this year's, and obviously this year is going to be a whole lot different because obviously with quarantine going on, I can't invite everybody over. So it's like, what are we going to do? And it's the 5th year doing it, so I'm like, fuck, I feel like we got to do something big.
I know.
So
of all years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Kate and I have spitballed some ideas together about that. The parents are down, so we're going to do it over there. We'll have the space that we need.
Cool.
We already got some interesting art, hint hint, nudge nudge, wink wink, exclusive, some art in the work for Extra Life. There's some things that I've filmed behind the scenes that are for Extra Life. There's still a lot of work to be done. There's still some ideas up in here. I'm like, how do I make this real and make this happen? But Extra Life is a blast to do every year. And yeah, like I said, the planning gets crazier and crazier each year. It's like, all right, what can I do?
Oh man, just to keep topping yourself.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then I guess without delaying too much longer, I'll ask the final question for the evening, you know, for all the Enigma maniacs. Let's see, have you ever been in a Turkish prison?
What the fuck is a Turkish prison? So no.
It's from the movie Airplane.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
I had to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start off.
He asked me the same question the other day.
There you
We're
go.
all in this together.
Nice.
Oh man. But yeah, that's it, man. It's
Awesome.
just nice getting to know you a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm like, who is this guy? Who's Bret? I know Master Griffin. I know him. He's, you know, that cool dude with the cool hair. But I'm like, I don't know.
The cool hair.
I don't really know Bret. So this is good.
Yeah, that was an awesome topic. I appreciate that. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. All right, moving on to topic 4. Yeah, you heard that right, everybody. It's topic 4 time.
Oh.
So, if you're joining this podcast for the first time and you don't know, when I have somebody on the podcast for the first time, I like to take them through the lightning round of questions. So I'm going to ask Sam and Steve a series of questions right now. Whatever answer comes to their head first, they're going to go with it. If you guys want to explain any answer, you're more than welcome to, but you do not have to. You can just leave it at the answer itself. Are you guys ready?
No.
All right.
No. Okay, Steve is ready. So,
Yes,
because
sir. Get ready, sir.
because Sam was answering all the questions earlier first. Steve, you're gonna go first.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I gotta find my list, but hold on. No.
Check it twice.
Check it twice.
Oh
You know,
my
find out
God.
who's naughty and nice. There it is.
Thank God Steve's talking more. Nobody wants to hear me.
No,
They want
we
to hear
all
the
want
guy
to
with the
hear.
beard.
Which one?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Both the guys with
Oh.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
All right, Steve. Question
Here we go.
number 1. What is
Oh God, I'm going to prison. Okay, here we go. Yeah.
what's your favorite color?
Blue.
All right. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Okay. Favorite game?
Oh, ooh, Trivial Pursuit.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Oh, I'll put Breakfast Club up there.
Okay. Favorite type of music?
Oh, it varies, but we'll say grunge.
Okay. Favorite song?
Oh man, right off the top of my head, Black.
Okay.
Pearl Jam.
Dream job when you were a kid?
Let's see. Problem is I don't have anything coming right to my head.
Okay.
Let's see. That's a good one. Probably to be like my dad, like a contractor or something along those lines, you know, but I'm not nearly as talented, so that went out the window.
Let's see. If you could have any animal to be a pet, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's see here. I would go with a cat.
It's okay. If you could meet one celebrity, regardless of status, alive or dead, etc., who would it be?
I had to go first?
Yes.
Oh, man. Oh God. Right off the top of my head, this is a good one. Al Pacino would be interesting.
All right. Almost done. Favorite season?
Spring.
Okay. Favorite holiday?
Christmas. I'm all about that Christmas.
What is a skill you wish you could have?
You're funny. I hear that little giggle. Oh man. Oh God. Let's see. Not caring.
Okay. That's a good one. All right. Last question. What is a game that you want me to play?
Oh, pin the tail on the donkey.
Nice. All righty. Good. Nice, Steve. All right, Sam. We're over to you. Are you ready?
All right. Yes.
All right. Question number 1. Favorite color?
Yellow.
Nice. Cats or dogs?
Yep.
Cats.
All right. Favorite game?
I love Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
Anyone.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
All right. Did you?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Sidebar. Did you see the new character? Did you see the new characters for MK11?
I know that it's out, but I have not.
Okay. You need to go do that. You need to
Okay,
go do
so yeah, we'll definitely be in touch.
All right. Favorite movie?
Oh man. The 10 Things I Hate About You.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Favorite type of music?
Pop.
Okay. Favorite song?
I like Super Lonely by Bene or whatever. I butchered her name. Sorry.
All right. What was your dream job when you were a kid?
I wanted to be a singer.
Okay. If you could have any animal to be a pet, what would it be?
A monkey.
Okay.
You already have.
I love monkeys. Like a teeny tiny one, like the ones you could put on your thumb.
Oh yeah.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Don't lose it.
One that could sit on your shoulder would be cool too.
If you could meet one celebrity, regardless of status, who would it be?
Oh man, probably David Bowie.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, dude, that'd be amazing.
Favorite season?
Fall.
Okay. Favorite holiday?
Halloween.
What is a skill you
It's
wish...
my jam.
There you go. A skill you wish you could have.
A skill. I don't know. Probably being more confident.
Okay. And then
Confidence.
last question. What is a game that you'd like me to play?
Oh, have to think about that one.
Mm-hmm.
How about Monopoly?
Monopoly. Okay. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Extra life goal, Monopoly. Oh, God. Awesome.
Oh, man.
All right, everybody. This has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 73. My name is Bret, a.k.a. Enigma911, and today I was joined by Sam and Steve, who did an awesome job. Thank you guys for being on the podcast today. I do appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
We'll have to get you guys on another one. Okay.
Your people will call my people, or
There you go.
say?
Yeah. If you guys want to catch this podcast live, you can go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Just like Papa Griff, New York to SoCal, Mayor Bear, and Jeff Reg all did today. You can join on the chat, join on the conversation. We'd love to have you. But if you can't catch it live, go over to youtube.com and SoundCloud, search Enigma9011, where it's put out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 the following Friday. If you guys ever have a not a comment. If you guys ever have a topic or a guest that you want on the show, you can always put it in the comment section down below, and we will try our best to get to it or get that person on. And last but not least, #add merch store. Get all of your swag over there: t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand, support us. It'd be greatly appreciated. And remember, it's not going to be around for that much longer, so please take advantage of it and get all the good stuff for yourself. Yeah. Guys, thank you again for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
This was awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of
You're
fun.
awesome.
Aw. Thanks. All right, chat and viewers, thank you guys for hanging out. We will see you guys on the next one. Take care.